Yes, welcome to CaptainCommerce, your YouTube channel all about e-commerce and online marketing with interesting tips and tricks, without buzzwords, without empty promises, but with many interesting insights from over 20 years of experience in online stores from different countries in Europe. Therefore, this channel is also presented in 3 languages so that my customers and interested parties in Germany, in English-speaking countries and in Spain also can enjoy this content. Always in front of a beautiful scenery live from Mallorca that makes learning fun too. So, let's start with the first episode of Captain Commerce. Today I want to talk about speed and hosting of your own webshop. Make sure that your own web pages can be loaded fast enough so that your customers have the best possible user experience. Why is this so important? You may know it yourself. After only a few seconds, statistics prove customers interrupt the visit of your site. If after 2 to 3 seconds your site doesn't react, many visitors interrupt the visit completely. Therefore, it is so important that the loading times are as short as possible, that the loading times can be reduced and pages quickly render. But it's not only about the fact that the pages can be loaded quickly from your own server, but also that they build up quickly and are programmed as efficiently as possible, and that they do not slow down your browser too much. Therefore, tip number 1, test the shop once from the point of view of different customers. That is, use occasionally different browsers. If possible, try PC and Mac, try it on different devices, that is Android, iPhone devices for the mobile user experience. But also, if you have the possibility, with a tablet device. Do the pages load quickly? Does everything work as desired? Are all functions visible and can be seen where you expect them to be? Preferably from different locations. That means do not only try it in your high-speed Wi-Fi at work or at home, but also once in a while with a mobile device on the road where you might have only 3G or LTE, which is not quite as efficient and quickly. You'll see for yourself it is fast enough and whether your own user experience is pleasant. If you notice any bottlenecks, talk to your agency with your programmer. Or if you developed it yourself, just have a look at the page with Google PageSpeed Insights. I've put the link in the description. With this tool you can quickly find out where there is optimization potential. Tip number 2 in this context, choose the right hoster. Many customers come to me and work with large mass hosts for which, unfortunately, you are only one small number in an even bigger system. I'd always suggest you'd better go to a smaller hoster with personal contact, with personal service, where you feel comfortable even if it does become problematic.
Wo ihr euch gut aufgehoben fühlt, auch wenn es mal problematisch wird.
Do not save money on the wrong end. For 5 or 10 euros, you can't expect a professional hosting, especially none where your individual requirements are fulfilled. Also note in this case, or please consider in this case, the webstore is your shop, your central platform. You shouldn't save money choosing the wrong hoster. In many cases, they store most of your customer data. It means it must be completely secure. Customers must be able to access it quickly, and in the event of an error or in the event of an attack or virus, you need a fast and reliable service. I therefore recommend you a smaller hoster. They have mostly better and quicker service and a dedicated team which can comply with individual requirements. How should such a hosting cost if I say it shouldn't cost 15 euros? So I guess you have to at the very least, if you're really at the beginning, go with 30 euros and a shared hosting offer. What does that mean? That means you're on a PC, on a server with different customers. Now just imagine yourself sharing your home PC with 10 to 20 other people. That would probably lead quite fast to speed problems once in a while. That's why this can only be the absolute entry-level solution if you still don't have no big turnover and just want a place where you can store your data. My dearest, I gotta switch over to my glasses, because this beautiful Mallorca sun is dazzling after all. By the way, we are here in Alcudia, in the north of Mallorca, today in Alcanada, where I briefly anchored with this little smart boat, powered by sailboats. Link can be found in the description. Behind us you can see the lighthouse of Alcanada, the island of Alcanada, unfortunately not inhabited anymore, fully automatic, but until a few years ago there was really living a lighthouse keeper, and this is an absolutely picturesque place and a strong excursion recommendation here on Mallorca. But that's not what you're here for. You're here for the first-class e-commerce tips. So, if you have grown out of that little hosting package, it is highly recommended to use a managed server. Managed server means you have your own PC that is hosted by the hosting provider who manages it and tidies it up. That means makes updates, sets up virus protection, etc. To put it simply. There are some differences too. Pay attention to this detail. Is it a virtual managed server and then you share one machine with several customers, whereby your share is much more generous? That means you share it with fewer customers and also the minimum performance is guaranteed. This is a good entry-level solution for the server world. When it gets really serious, you must have at least one managed server. That means you have your own dedicated PC as you are used to, and that is how you get the maximum performance. So a managed server is absolutely recommendable if you are serious about your own store and not using a provider such as Shopify who takes care of the whole hosting topic. Beyond that, going further into the professional area, there are also multiple server cloud solutions or cluster solutions for the database, but that's something I'd be glad to assess you on individually, or you can ask your hoster. So remember, 30 euros at least for the complete beginner's offer in the shared hosting, and afterwards virtual managed server or managed server if it's getting serious. If you host your own shop, then please, in business cards or emails, don't use your old Outlook, Google Mail, iCloud or Yahoo address. Your domain is your signature and is intended to be remembered by the customer as often as possible. It means try to use it everywhere you can, on business cards, letter paper, stickers, in the car filing, etc. Please, do not use the old Gmail address, because every time you enter your email address, you do also have automatically marketed your store domain and or brought it closer to your customers. That's just a small tip, because I really see very often on trucks, etc., where it might not be aware to them. I see www. for example, mystore.co.uk and then mystore, let's say at iCloud.com, for example. This is just a wasted chance. It is also useful for branding and it looks more professional overall. So please info at mystore.co.uk or the email address that you have in mind. A tip: if you want to continue using the mailbox you have at Yahoo, Outlook, etc., you can always set up redirects, which means that you can continue to use your old configuration if you don't want to change it yet, and then simply forward the mails from your shop domain to the old address. Another tip in this area and in this context: unfortunately, I have also experienced that some hosters, mostly the mass hosters, with their cheaper offers, with factory settings or by default don't have any backup set up. Backup should be familiar to you. Data backup is a must-have in the business area, but especially with your online shop. That means pay attention, talk to him, talk to your hosting provider, and store some written proof that backups are made, because that's essential. You can imagine how dramatic it would be when you don't have a backup of your customer data and your order data. This can have legal consequences, taxation consequences, for example, if you can't retrieve all receipts. I don't understand why some mass hosters don't have activated this by default, and unfortunately my customers were taken by surprise when they realized they don't have backups. So far, luckily, it's always been without consequences. You can set up automatic backups yourself, and you can also download your own backups regularly when the hoster doesn't have this possibility, and for whatever reason, this can be set up later. So this topic, backups, are essential for your own webshop. Yes, my dearest ones, the whole topic of hosting is essential in my opinion for a great success with your own online store. A last tip related to hosting: pay attention to your SLA, Service Level Agreement. Here you should have a minimum of guaranteed availability. If this information does not exist in the offer terms, look inside the small print in the terms and conditions. SLA means, let's suppose you have a value of 99%. This means that in 1% of the whole year you have a downtime of your server, and the host will still be able to justify it without even violating his SLA. Might sound a little low, but 1% of 1 year you can quickly calculate are 3.65 days. You certainly don't want 3.5 days be unavailable. That means here 99.99% is actually standard and should be guaranteed by your hoster. Yes, my dears, that was the first episode of Captain Commerce live from Mallorca. In the background, the lighthouse of Alcanada. I hope you had fun. Subscribe and ring the bell if you want to have valuable information and always behind a beautiful backdrop. Then you've come to the right place.